everybody. Welcome to Local Beauty. I have our first guest, meet Jen Robinson. She is a licensed esthetician, and we're going to just chat about, first off, how we met. So,
Mm.
so I have known you for like, what, 2 years now? Two
Yeah,
and a half,
yeah,
I think.
it's about 2 years. Yeah.
2 years. So when I met Jen, she had just moved, I think, just really fresh to San Antonio. And she was in my Facebook group. And so I was looking for another moderator because the group had grown so much in the past 2 years, even now, still now. But when I met her, I needed help. And I just had Desiree, which Desiree is great. But I was like, I need extra help because now I had just made the second group, the Esthetician's Job Suites and Beyond group. And I did my just a little post, and she was like one of the first people to comment. And I reached out. I said, "Hey, like let's just talk on the phone, so I can get like a feel for you, whatever." As soon as I picked up the phone, I fell in love with Jen because
Oh,
she is so sweet. And we just had so much in common too. Like we were just talking on the phone how I got a new schnauzer, and that's like literally how we bonded on the phone. I was like, "You wait, you have schnauzers? What?" A lot of people are like, "What is a schnauzer? Like what is that? What kind of?"
best dog ever.
Right, right. Or like I'll be walking my dogs and they're like, "What is that bearded dog? It's cute." I'm like, "It's a schnauzer."
hmm
So the fact that she had two, I said, "I have two as well." So that's what sold it. No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean that is what sold it
Schnauzer
for me.
love.
And you have been doing aesthetics now for what, like 20 years, 15 years?
Well, 12 years.
Sorry,
So, yeah,
12 years. I
that's
knew it was
fine.
more than 10.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
I'm
feels like longer, but yes, it's been 12 years. So,
Yes.
yeah,
So, I brought her on board, and then honestly, naturally, we became friends. Okay. So I become friends with whoever I meet in the industry. And people are like,
yeah.
how do you know so many people? I'm just like, I don't know. I just like I start like just texting them and just like I don't
Hi.
shut up. And then we but I'm so glad to have you as our first guest on
Thank
Local Beauty.
you. Thank you.
So tell me what got you into aesthetics? Like what were you doing before? Like what point in your life were you like, I don't like what I'm doing now. I really want to make this pivot.
Yeah. So it's funny because I'm going to date myself, but way back in the 1900s, right? After I graduated from college, I went to teach. Like I was a teacher for several years. And then
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity came about that I really couldn't pass up. So I used my degree in not just teaching kids anymore, but teaching doctors, nurses, pharmacists. So I got into pharmaceutical sales.
Mm-hmm.
And the last job in my career that I had was working with plastic surgeons and dermatologists. And I
Mm-hmm.
just I just fell in love with skin. I fell in love with skin. I fell in love with the aspect of taking care of your skin. I fell in love with treatments. It was nice because I could go during my lunch hour to one of my dermatologists and get like a lunchtime peel and then be on my way. Like it was just fun, like that I got to experience all this. Well, fast forward, I ended up getting married, having kids, and I was super fortunate that I was able to be a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a stay-at-home mom for about 10 years. And then, decided when we moved to Colorado Springs, it was like, okay, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like, what are you going to do? Because my boys were already getting ready to go into middle school, right? So it's like, okay, you know what? I love skin. It just happened to be a great aesthetic school there in Colorado Springs. Went to school, graduated, opened up my first business.
Wow.
Um, and then, military life, as you well know, had to bounce around after that. So I'm actually licensed in 3 states, and I absolutely love what I do. But yeah, I was a mom, and I was really fortunate, right, that I got to do that. But I really wanted to do something for myself. I wanted something to give back. I wanted something to wake me up in the morning besides my kids. You know what I
Yes.
mean? You know what I mean? So, so yeah, so that's kind of how I got into aesthetics. And it's just been a wonderful experience for me. Started off in a small little room, went into a really nice, beautiful brick and mortar day spa in Fredericksburg, Virginia, to now
Wow.
I'm back to like just a little small room and working for myself. And so it's
Mhm.
nice. It's nice.
So did you, when you were like, hey, I'm done being a stay-at-home mom, were you like just jumped into a storefront or did you work for someone?
No, I actually, fortunately enough, was able to work for myself. So I started off as a solopreneur, and then 12 years later, I'm still a solopreneur. But I rented a small room. I don't even know. I think at the back then, I feel like it was, I don't know, like $400 a month. It was like so inexpensive. And so I was so able to like open up my own little place, but I knew it was temporary, right? Because we were
Mhm.
only going to be there for so long. Um, so yeah, and then moving into the big brick and mortar and now just working for myself again, not having extra people to manage, etc. So yeah,
That's super nice that you've, had the experience just on your own
yeah,
and then managing people. And then starting out just like you're like I'm going to freaking take the reins on this
yeah.
career of mine and just start by myself.
And it's
That's like
scary.
very courageous and very like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
awesome.
it's scary. Unfortunately, at the time, I had the finances to be able to back me for that, right? Because I know not
Mhm.
everybody has that. But I encourage people, like, if you have an opportunity to start on your own, to work out the kinks, to figure out how you want to practice, that I feel like that's the way to go.
Yeah, I agree. And plus, at least for me, being a mom, it's just so easy to plan your schedule around your
Yeah.
kids, like drop off, pick up, and all their events. For me, it's just been such a blessing just
Hmm.
making my own schedule.
No,
Um,
flexibility is huge.
so how, like, when you first started, and back then too, there's no social media, right? Like, how did you get the word out there? Like, how did you bring people in?
So I mean, there was a little bit of social media, but I don't know that I really even marketed. So Colorado Springs, I had a
Oh,
great network of other estheticians that we all kind of went out and did our own, like we all had our own niche, right? So back then I was really full force anti-aging, chemical peels, microdermabrasions, like that type of corrective skincare. And
mhm.
so it was really just word of mouth, like in that time. There was social media, but I don't think I really marketed the way people do now, right?
Right.
And then moving into Virginia, I did have like a business coach. I did have a social media coach to help me figure out, because then it really started, you really have to market, right? But
Right.
I was so fortunate that my business in Virginia grew from word of mouth. Like I really didn't
Wow.
have to, I didn't pay for ads. I mean, we talked about all that stuff, right? But I
Mhm.
was just so blessed that word of mouth, I mean, within 6 months of opening that business,
Mhm.
my books were filled. And then really blessed after that and I don't ever really like to toot my own horn. I don't really talk about, but since you asked, like then I started winning awards because people would vote, people would nominate me for. So it was just a blessing, right? Like, and I love what I do. And then
Absolutely.
and then moving here, having to start over again, um, like I'm not like what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not like a newbie at like opening a business, right? So I know what it takes to open a business, but starting over from scratch again can be a little challenging, you know? So
Absolutely. So when you did your first move,
yeah,
so you saw your books full in 1 month, or sorry, 6 months,
6 months.
just word of mouth.
Hmm.
I
Thank
think that
you.
deserves a round of applause because I feel like a lot of people say now, it takes like 5 years to grow a business. It takes 2 years to be like, somewhat steady. And
Yeah.
so that's really incredible. It really is.
I
Um,
think that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that I just want to make note that like I'm in a much bigger city now with San Antonio, right?
oh, you're in a small town in
I
Virginia?
was in a small town in Virginia. So
Mhm.
Fredericksburg, Virginia. I mean, it's not tiny, tiny, but it's not San Antonio. So I think
Right.
word of mouth there and the who's who and getting to know that really made a difference for my business.
Okay.
Here, San Antonio is so huge. So I don't want to give that perspective like, oh, I really want to be real about that. Like I was in a small town, although there was still other estheticians, med spas, etc. But again, just I was just really blessed.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think too, a lot of like, love for your craft and like your personability, your ability to talk to people is just like has gotten you like far and to meet people. Like I loved you right off the bat and I had like
Mhm.
we had a 30-minute phone call. And I've just seen you at other networking events and you're just like you're talking to everybody, which is like what you should do.
Yeah.
For me, sometimes it's still hard to like, go to social events and just go up to a random person and be like, oh, hi. But I obviously, you got to force yourself after some time and it gets easier and easier. But I
Yeah.
think, your communication skills are just stellar.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yeah. So why did you move from Virginia to San Antonio?
So I'm actually a Texan girl. Like I'm from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But being my ex-husband is military, so that was the bouncing around. But in 2022, my oldest graduated from high school and moved to San Antonio to go to college.
Okay.
So I was still living in Virginia. In 2023, my youngest followed suit and went to live with his brother and went to college. And so it's like, why am I here? And so,
Mm-hmm.
and then moved back home, unfortunately or fortunately,
Mm-hmm.
went through a divorce. So it was good to
Mm-hmm.
be home. But yeah, so my kids came, and so I followed suit, which was always the plan, right? It was always the plan to come back to Texas. And so it was kind of, it forced my hand. I'm so glad that I was here, surrounded by friends and family all over the I-35 corridor. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, so that's kind of what brought me back home.
That's amazing. And you've been here for two,
Yeah,
or I say here,
well, I
you've
stay
been
here.
there. I feel like I'm still in San Antonio.
I've actually been in San Antonio now. So this past July was a year. So I think we said we've known each other 2 years, but I think it really hasn't even, I feel like it's been forever.
I
But
know. I'm just like, wait a second. Has it only been a year and a half?
yeah,
I
yeah.
am just,
Well, you and I both, I'm like, we've known each other for 5 years. Like, it's
it
like,
feels like it. I'm
I
like,
know,
yeah.
I know. No, so like July was a year that
Mm-hmm.
I moved to San Antonio. So, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, snap. Okay. So,
Oh my gosh, yeah. Time
so
flies when
like,
you're having fun.
so at what point when you moved, did you like, you were like, okay, we're going to have another spa. We're going to like set up shop again. Like, what were I guess, steps to open the spa and start over a third time, right?
Third, yeah.
Third time, yeah.
So obviously location, right? Location, location, location. And San Antonio is so big. So I was really trying to find a location that I felt was kind of central San Antonio, right?
Mhm.
At the time I was living on the northwest side of town. And so just trying to find the right location is imperative for you. I'm all about vibes and feel and energy. And
Mhm.
so I walked into a couple different places that just didn't kind of give me that feel, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I ended up in a location in Castle Hills that I felt like it was such a great vibe.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, at the time, going through the storm of divorce, like my mindset wasn't quite there. So I
Yeah.
asked myself, should I open, should I not? But I needed a distraction. Like I needed to
Mhm.
get back to business. I mean, I've always been pretty independent. I've always been pretty strong-willed. So I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. And it was really rocky for a little while.
Mhm.
Yeah. But so that's why, and I decided I'm just gonna come back to me. Like I've been there, done that with the big, beautiful retail, like mortar, brick and mortar spa. I
Hmm.
think I just want to come back to me and one room, managing myself, um, focusing on bettering my craft, right?
Yeah.
And so that's yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So yeah, that's yeah, I decided based off of oh sorry.
It's
Speaking of
okay.
schnauzers. um
Love schnauzers.
so brick and mortar versus my own place, I decided I'm gonna focus on me. So
Okay, nice. And you've been open for how long now?
so oh,
It's
I
okay.
opened so September of 2024 was
Hmm.
when I landed and like found a location, went to work. And so this past September has been a year and what we're December, October, November, a year and 3 months. So yeah, that's how long I've been open.
Nice.
Um, and so
And have you noticed any like changes in the market in San Antonio compared to Virginia and Colorado Springs?
well, like I mentioned before, so in Virginia, it was a smaller town. Oh, there goes my earbud.
Hmm.
Smaller town. Um, so remember, I'm from San Antonio. I was living in San Antonio prior to leaving. So San Antonio's grown tremendously. I mean, even the place that I was living in didn't even exist when I left San Antonio.
Hmm.
So in terms of the market, I mean, I never worked in aesthetics in San Antonio back then. But in terms of the market, I know that the beauty business is booming, right? But that's everywhere. And then San Antonio growing so much and opportunities, I think are amazing. So um, there's definitely quite a number of estheticians here, but I believe there's business for everybody. I don't feel
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? There's definitely plenty of business for everybody.
Yeah. And I always say, like, I believe in community over competition.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
I mean, all my friends, I tell everyone, all my friends are estheticians, and we're not like in competition with anyone. We're just here to build each other up. Like, there's enough room for everybody in this
Hmm.
industry. I
Hmm.
don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, no,
And
I believe it.
like gatekeeping is not necessary. Like we all have our own clients. But so with like growing your business, have you had any issues in San Antonio, or has it just been like growing like organically?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little bit of a challenge, but I also have to, and I had this conversation with my person the other day, my fiance, that when I got here, you really have to be in the right mindset, right? You really have to be in that mode of, okay, let's do this, let's get this done, hit the ground running. And,
Hmm.
unfortunately, I really wasn't there when I first opened, right? So I was working on myself, opening a business, going through some challenges. And so I think that momentum kind of obviously slowed me back, like slowed me down, pushed me back. Um, I
Hmm.
kind of relaunched myself, if you will, this past August.
Okay.
And so since then, doing a lot more networking, social media. Like I can't even, I mean, you are amazing at social media. Your videos, your this,
Oh,
I just never had to do that before. Like I said, it grew organically for me in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So now here it's a different market, bigger place. I'm reacquainting myself with San Antonio, so I am still like getting to know people. And our business is all about trust. It's all about relationships. It's all about, so really working hard to build, right, that network of people that will trust me to come in, take care of their skin, etc. Um, so it has been a little challenging here, I'm not going to lie. But I
Mhm.
feel like I'm also trying to keep that balance between like personal life and business. I mean, in a couple months, I'm going to be 55, and it's like, I want to find that balance. I love what I do and I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing, but I'm also in a different season of my life. I'm an empty nester. Like my kids are doing their thing. My fiance has kids, they're doing their thing. So like we want to be able to enjoy too. So I guess it's like that. I want my cake and eat it too, right?
Yes.
Um,
Well,
but
no, you
what
had, or sorry, you keep going. I don't know why
No,
I
no,
just
no. No, you're fine. I was gonna say, like it's one of those things. Like I'm feel like I'm starting to do better with the social media and the marketing, getting to know more people. I definitely have had more clients, so that's good. And I'm not gonna stop. Like I'm gonna continue, right? So it's just continue the process of meeting and networking and collaborating with different people in the industry too. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I've noticed a really big shift from a lot of people who have had their businesses in San Antonio for many, many years,
yeah.
um, who have said, I've never had to pay for ads. I've never had to go and post on social media. I was booked for, weeks, like my Saturdays were stacked.
Hmm.
And there's just been this big shift, I think, with social media and having to like continually post to keep interest. But like,
Yeah.
I I don't know. I also feel like clients are kind of scared to book now. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they're like, "Oh, I had to get like a feel for you before scheduling your appointment." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I have had that in the past where I'm afraid to book. I'm like, "Oh, is this person going to be this or that?" I
Hmm.
mean, you never
Hmm.
want someone with like off vibes, I guess, to do your service
Yeah.
because it's all
Yeah.
about, you're there to, nurture your client, make them feel beautiful, feel good.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you're not having that, then it's like why go back? Or if you've had a bad experience, it's like, oh, now I'm nervous to book. So I feel like there's just been a lot of shifts, just both in the industry and like in people over the years with like I don't know, just I feel like there's a whole science of why people book, why people wait to book or don't book.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah, but
it's
that's
funny that you say that because I've had people like, "Oh, I'm in a book. Oh, I need to come see you.
I'm
Oh, I
going
need to," and then life, right? Life happens. I mean,
right.
so
You
but you
also opened your business to with like all like coming off of COVID and just like lots of shifts in just economic
yeah,
stuff too
yeah.
has happened.
Well,
So I think give yourself a little bit of grace because I'm seeing it in our Facebook group, just like a little bit of a slowdown over the
hmm,
past year in the industry. So
hmm, hmm.
you know
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because I feel like education needs to be a bigger part of what we do, right?
mhm,
And I've always been very adamant about any client that comes into my room, they're going to know the who, what, when, where, why. They're going to know all they want to know or even need to know or even don't want to know about their skin. Well, because it's important. You want, I mean, you should want to know, right? But I think that a lot of people, well, I don't want to say a lot, I think there is a big portion of people that feel like what we do is all about luxury. And it's not
yes,
necessarily luxury. And what I try to tell people is it's more about your skin's health. Like, I don't think people
hmm
really know this. Our outside skin is like our largest organ, right? And I know for me, like, I want to look in the mirror and see who I've always been looking back. Now, are we aging? Of course. Is that going to ever end? No. But at least I know like my skin will look healthy, it might glow, I may have some fine lines, I may have some laugh lines, but you know what? Like I'm aging, but I feel like I look good for my age, right? I feel like, and so I think that people think, oh, well, I can't afford it, it's a luxury. Well, I get it, but it's not really a luxury anymore. It really is about skin health and
Mhm.
education. Because I feel like more and more people are coming down with like skin conditions, sensitivities, and I'll tell you, a lot of the root causes have to do with the internals, right? So
Mhm.
finding the root cause of things, like I love to dive deep and find root causes of the why,
Yeah.
but I don't
Mhm.
think people fully understand. It's not just a luxury, and self care is needed, right, for us women. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we do so many things. Like, yeah.
Oh, I was just having this conversation with my husband. He's just he his luxury is getting his hair cut, and then his self care is getting his like massages once a month, which is pretty new in the past year. He just is trying to find out why his back is just shot. And I'm like, okay,
Crazy.
go get massages, but it's also your job. You're getting older. They require you to do all this PT in the military. Like,
Hmm.
you're not as young as you were 10 years ago. I mean, your body requires different stuff now, and you're working out way too hard at the gym, and then you have to go to PT and do all this other stuff. It's just, I think I was the one that like told him you need to go pre-book for massages because he never like he's like pre-book. I'm just like he had to I had to get him out of this mindset of like that you're going to your therapist because she is good. She books out in advance. You can't just say,
Hmm.
"Oh, my back hurts. I'm going to book an appointment." No, just assume your back's going to hurt for the next two months. Like 2 to 3 months. Get on the schedule because if
Hmm.
you don't, your back's going to keep hurting. But
Yeah.
um, but going back to what you said about client education, I think a lot of people, you know, there's an esthetician for everybody, and I
Hmm.
always preach that to my clients. But I say, look, I've had people who come in and they're like, "Hey, I have X, Y, and Z problem," and I tell them, not everyone comes in with one problem. There's always something else. But also, if you're coming in just because you want to clear your head, that's okay too. But there are estheticians that only specialize in like the feel good facials, like
Hmm.
facial massage, and like just they go to just relaxation. And
Hmm.
I am a firm believer there's an esthetician for, relaxing facials.
Hmm.
And I've had people who are like, I just want to like decompress,
Hmm.
de-stress. And I mean, that's why I get massages.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
like I think I've only gone to see like get a facial to decompress like maybe once in my life. I don't know. I think people just I don't know. My husband used to not like people rubbing him down.
Yeah.
Like not everyone likes massages. So now I'm like, okay, I can see why maybe someone would just want a facial. But yeah, I try and educate clients like why are
Hmm.
you here? Are you
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
are you let's answer the why. Why did you come to me today? Do you
Yeah.
have a skin problem or like another ailment, or you just want to just relax and then go from there? Because then I
Correct.
know if they just want to relax, I'm like, okay, they might not be in for a while. It might just
Hmm.
be like something they're going through. So you're definitely right. Client education is super important, and telling them, to come back and pre-book their sessions, and then also get on the prescribed skincare, whatever they need. I think my hardest thing too is like a lot of people want quick fixes, and I'm sure you've seen it too. They're like, I want my melasma gone in a month, and you're like, so you're gonna need these treatments
Hmm.
and the skincare.
Hmm.
You're gonna need to see me for the next year. And they're like, oh, oh, that's too long. And I say, well, your melasma didn't come overnight, did it? You can't expect me to fix it overnight.
Yeah.
So yeah, client education in our industry is so important. And telling them, this is what's required.
Yeah.
Like during,
Expectations are huge.
yeah, during
Yeah.
the first consult and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what else was I going to say? Because my brain went. Sometimes my brain goes blank after talking about such good juice, and then I'm just like, "Meh." Oh my gosh. So back to your new spot. You said you've been there for just like you since like August. You are
Hmm.
reinventing yourself as your new spot.
Hmm.
Is it going good? What like I guess advice would you give if someone is, I guess, like picking what kind of vibe to go to or what spot?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm really about like positive like energy and a feel, someplace that's like good lighting, like people look happy in the building, especially if you're going to like one of those salon suites, right? Like
Mhm.
where I was in. And so everybody was so nice, everybody was welcoming, warming, that kind of thing. So I feel like those are the kind of things you want to look for. Location's going to be huge, right? What part of town, your demographic. What kinds of clients do you want to treat? Like what is your niche, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I feel like for me, it's going okay, but there's so many things that I still want to do, right? Like I actually have a niche, that I haven't quite broken through the seal, if you will, for that, because I still have to go and meet the right people.
Okay.
But I'm an oncology trained esthetician. So I took extensive courses in learning how to treat and manage cancer patients' skin before, during, and after anti cancer therapies. So I truly have a passion for that too, but that's not to say I don't have a passion for anti-aging because I love the aspect of corrective skincare. I love the aspect of, and I'm good at it. I've done it for over a decade now, and I pretty much know skin. I know ingredients, so I know that market. But I also have a compassion, a heart for maneuvering skin when people are going through cancer. As you well know, everything gets shot, right? Their skin is just
Absolutely.
completely shot. So I have a passion for, and in fact, in Virginia, where I lived, I was part of an integrated medicine provider program with Mary Washington Hospital. So I worked with other providers like yoga therapists, dog therapy, Reiki, yoga, and then I did skin. Someone else would come in and do hair. And so I worked at the cancer center and I saw patients there at the cancer center. I probably, from the time that I started in 2016 with that, I probably have helped over 500 cancer patients.
Wow.
Um, so really, really blessed and honored. More importantly, honored, right, to be able to do that because it really is a special calling. You really have to, because it's such an emotional journey for them,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
in turn for you, right? But I loved my time at Mary Washington Cancer Center, and I'm trying to make some waves and steps into maybe getting into a cancer center here or making sure, because again, like it's all about education, it's all about awareness, right? That San Antonio knows someone like me exists. And maybe there are others that have the training, right? I don't know. I haven't run into any of them that have done formal training, but I feel like it's just so important when it comes to niching yourself. So if you're going to niche yourself, right, like find what you're passionate about and then hit the ground running with that, which is what I'm trying to do right now. So,
I love that. And I feel like there's not really a big like space for like oncology SDs in San Antonio, at least what I've seen. Like
yeah, because you were here for a little while, right? I mean, you were here.
you're the only one I know that's like an oncology trained esthetician, honestly, from everybody I've met in San Antonio. Like I don't
Okay.
know. You're like one of the only the only one I know. So, And you said, and we've talked about this, but you train people. Like you have like you provide the treatments, but you can train other SDs if they're wanting to get into oncology.
Yeah, so I'm actually I've been a trainer with Oncology Spa Solutions, which is where I got my training from. But I mean, more importantly, I'm working on a training right now for like baby SDs coming out, young SDs coming out that maybe can't afford right away to go through the training, because I would never say don't go through the training. No, go through the training because it's extensive. It's um, life changing when it comes to dealing with cancer patients. But I am going to come up with just a small basic intro 101, if you will, to working with oncology patients, because it really does make a difference when you have some training. Because you can actually hurt someone if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't know how to ask the right questions, especially if they're ongoing chemotherapy, if they're ongoing radiation. There's just so much that you really should know when working with those people. So, yeah, that's coming. I'm working on that. That'll probably come out beginning of the year. You know, you have your to-do list. It's like it keeps growing and growing and growing. So, oh wait, I can't hear you. Nope. There you are. There you are.
Got me? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I don't know why it's,
You gotta love technology.
I know. Okay, so how long does it actually take from like start to finish if you want to get certified?
So through Oncology Spa Solutions, they have several different, but when I went through it, there was only one course, right? And well, it was book study, and then I did a 2 day intensive where it was lecture and book, and then I had to do hands on with clients, and then I had to take a big test. So, in order to get your certification or whatever, you have to go through a test, at least with Oncology Spa Solutions, right? I think there's one more out there that offers training for it. Now I think that there's probably certain um, skincare lines that will offer like a basic oncology training, which I think is great. But I will tell you, there's nothing that is going to top an intensive, like full blown training, because I'm telling you, like the knowledge I gained from that, I would have never known. I would have never known working with these these clients, these patients. So it doesn't take long. It's probably there are like as you go, like at your own pace type things. I did it pretty quick because I really wanted this, because I had an opportunity to join an integrative medicine program and I really wanted to do that. So I went through and did my basic. And then a year later, I went into the master's course. And so I went up into where the trainer was in Washington State, did a training. We were there for 3 days. It was a full intense training. At the end, worked with cancer patients there. Um, so yeah, so I that was just my choice because of the amount of patients I was working with. I felt I needed that. Not everyone's going to go work at a cancer center, right? Not everyone's going to go, but you may have one come through your door, right? And if that's the case, then you need to
So,
be able to know what you're doing. So, nope, I can't hear you again.
hi guys.
Nope,
So
I can't
sorry
hear
we
you
had a little
again.
technical difficulties with my mic. I don't know if I'm supposed to charge them. Maybe that's
I
what
don't know if I'm
happened.
supposed to charge
But
them.
I'll
Maybe
figure it
that's
out
what
later.
happened. But I'll
I'm just
figure it out
using my
later.
iPad audio, which
I'm
should
just
be
using
fine.
my iPad
But
audio, which should be
we
fine.
yeah, technical
But
errors. So sorry about that.
we yeah,
Technical
and then I
errors. So sorry about
was
that.
like, oh God, did it even
And then
save
I
everything? But
was like, oh God, did it
uh,
even save everything? But
it showed the recording.
uh,
At least
it
it
showed the
showed the
audio. But
recording. At
if
least it showed the audio.
it'll be
But
fine. I will
if
figure it out.
it'll
But
be fine.
I
We'll figure it out. But
oncology aesthetics
Yes.
So oncology aesthetics. Do you have any
Yes.
tips?
So,
Like when, like, how do you know?
do you have any
Like,
tips,
oh, this is
like
my
when,
niche. Have
like, how
you
do you know,
started with
like,
one
oh, this
niche
is
and
my
then kind
niche?
of
Have you
changed to
started
another?
with one niche and then kind of
Good
changed to
question.
another?
So when I
Good
first
question.
started, I was
So,
completely
when I
into
first
corrective
started, I
skincare.
was
Like
completely
that
into
was where I was
corrective
going.
skincare.
And it's,
Like
you know, when I
that was where I was
graduated my
going.
class,
And it's,
one went
when
on
I
to be a
graduated my
waxer. I went
class,
on to
one
do
went on to
corrective
be a
skincare.
waxer.
One
I
went
went
to
on
be an
to
acne
do
specialist. So I
corrective
had all
skincare.
of these
One went to be an
other
acne
classmates that
specialist. So I had
decided
all of
early
these
on,
other
right, what their
classmates that
niche
decided
was.
early
And I guess we
on,
kind of
right, what their
learned some of that
niche
through
was.
school and what
And I
you
guess we
felt
kind of
more
learned
passionate
some of that
about, or
through
when you're
school
learning
and
all
what
the
you
chemical
felt more
peels and
passionate
microdynamic,
about,
or
or
when
when
you're
you're
taking
learning
all
all
the
the
chemical
courses, right?
peels
And
and
you decide.
microdynamic, or when you're taking all
So
the
then
courses,
moving
right? And then you
forward,
decide. When
so then
I
moving
had the
forward,
opportunity to volunteer
when
with the Cancer
I had the
Society,
opportunity to volunteer with the
that's
Cancer
really when
Society,
I realized
that's really when
I still love
I
anti-aging. I still love
realized
corrective
I
skincare
still
and
love
I'm good at it,
anti-aging. I
but
still love corrective skincare
I
and I'm
saw
good
a
at it,
need,
but
like a really big
I
need
saw a
for
need, like a
patients, because
really
the
big
Cancer
need
Society,
for
kind of
patients,
backstory,
because
used to
the
have a
Cancer
program called Look
Society,
Good, Feel
kind
Better.
of backstory, used to have a
And they no
program
longer
called Look
have
Good,
it.
Feel
They
Better.
allocated funds for
And they
different
no
things
longer
throughout
have
the
it. They
Cancer
allocated
Society, but
funds for
I
different things throughout the Cancer
volunteered with
Society,
that
but
for
I, so
2
I
years.
volunteered with
And then they
that
did away with the
for 2
program.
years.
And right before they were doing away
And
with
then
the
they did away with the
program, I was like,
program.
you know what, then
And
what
right
are these,
before they were doing away with the
what is
program, I was
these
like, you
people,
know what,
I
then
did
what
the
are these,
skincare part,
what are these,
teaching them how to
these
take
people,
care of
because
their
I did the
skin, what
skincare
products to
part,
use,
teaching
answer
them how to take
questions.
care of their
And
skin,
then my
what products to
counterpart
use,
was a
answer
hairstylist.
questions.
So she talked
And then
about
my
wigs
counterpart
and
was a hairstylist. So she talked about
hair
wigs and
and scalp
um,
treatments and that kind of stuff, right?
hair
For
and scalp
when people lose
treatments and
their
that kind
hair.
of stuff, right?
For
So then
when
I
people lose
decided
their hair.
I need to figure out how I
So
can
then
still
I
be of
decided
service to
I
these
need to figure out
people,
how
right?
I
That
can
were
still be
coming
of
into the,
service to
we were
these
there at the
people,
cancer
right? That
center,
were coming
and so I
into the, we
found
were
a
there at the
training,
cancer center.
decided to go,
And so I
and so
found
when
a
I say my
training, decided
niche
to go.
is,
And so when
oncology
I say my
aesthetics, like it really is a
niche
niche, but
is
that doesn't
oncology
mean I
aesthetics,
don't
like it
do what I
really is a
love in
niche, but
terms of
that
corrective
doesn't mean I
skincare.
don't do what I
I just have
love
a
in terms of
passion for
corrective
helping
skincare.
people
I just have a
going
passion for
going
helping
through a really hard
people,
time in their life,
going
and
through a
making
really hard
sure
time in their
that
life,
their
and
skin
making
is as
sure
best
that their
as it can
skin
be
is
while
as
going
best
through
as it can
said
be
while going through
treatments and
said
etc. Right.
treatments
So
and therapies, etc. Right.
yeah,
So
I found a niche early
yeah,
on, but then I felt
I
like
found a niche early on, but then I
the
felt like
passion
the
that drove me
the
to
passion that
work with these
drove me
clients,
to
I mean,
work
it's
with these
actually like I feel like
clients.
I'm doing
I
two
mean,
different
it's
things
actually
because
like
it
I
really
feel like
is. You don't do
I'm doing
corrective
two different
skincare. You
things
don't
because it
do
really is. You
when
don't
you're
do
talking
corrective
oncology
skincare. You don't
aesthetics,
do
when you're talking
hydrating,
oncology aesthetics,
soothing,
you're
moisturizing the
hydrating,
skin
soothing,
on a very
moisturizing the
delicate
skin
level,
on a very
and more
delicate
importantly,
level,
products that are clean
and
and
more
safe,
importantly,
right?
products that are
So that's a
clean and
totally
safe, right?
different aspect
So
of
that's a
my
totally
business.
different aspect of my
Um,
business.
so I kind of feel like I wear two different hats.
So I kind of feel like I
But
wear
that
two different
also
hats.
but that also
Taught me or got me into more like you talked early on,
we talked early on the
facial
relaxation,
massage,
the
like
facial
I have people falling asleep
massage,
constantly
like
on my table
I
because
have
I
people falling
learned
asleep
that aspect
constantly on my
because
table because
of
I
what I was
learned that
doing
aspect
right with
because
oncology
of what I was
patients. Because when
doing
you're in
right
corrective
with
skincare, as you well
oncology
know, you're
patients.
not
Because when
falling
you're in
asleep.
corrective skincare, as
You're
you well know,
doing
you're not falling
chemical
asleep.
peels, you're
You're
doing
doing
things that,
chemical
that
peels, you're
are
doing
things that,
intensive
that
treatments
are to
intensive
reach a
treatments
goal, right?
to
With oncology
reach a
aesthetics,
goal,
it's more
right?
about being
With
careful. It's
oncology
more
aesthetics, it's more about
mindful.
being
It's more
careful. It's
detail
more
oriented.
mindful.
It's
It's more
more
detail
delicate,
oriented. It's
right?
more
So
Right.
delicate,
I can
right?
do both.
So
I can
Right.
change my
I
hat
can
with
do both
in a drop of a
I can
hat.
change my
Drop of
hat
a hat. Pin my hat.
in the drop of a
Anyways,
hat. Drop of a hat, pin my hat.
um,
Anyways,
yeah. So, like I said, it's
yeah.
not for
So,
everyone. Like I said, it's not
Mhm.
for everyone.
it really is an
Mhm.
emotional
It
journey
really is
that
an
not everyone
emotional
wants to
journey
undergo. But I
that not
feel
everyone
like
wants
you're
to
all there's. It's
undergo.
not
But
a
I
matter
feel
of
like if
you're all
it's a
there's.
matter
It's
of
not a
when,
matter of someone with
if
cancer
it's a
walks
matter
through
of
your
when.
doors. Someone with cancer
Wow.
walks through your doors.
Yeah, and I think
Wow.
we've all gotten
And I think
someone who,
we've
you know,
all gotten
like a client
someone
who
who
has gotten
you know
cancer like a client, how do you like navigate that with them? Do you tell them like, oh yes, you can still get skin treatments? Do you tell them like, oh yes, some sort of like bleeding periods, or is there
Well, I
like
feel
some
like
sort of
it's
like
going to
bleeding
vary from
period?
patient to patient, right? But if there's a certain timeline in between chemotherapy sessions that you cannot touch them, there is a timeline there is a timeline
between
radiation
like
and
those
radiation. So there really is
and
specific
those
timelines because
so there really is
their blood
specific
level, the red blood
timelines
cells
because
can be
their
low,
blood
and
level,
they
the
can
red blood cells
bruise, they
can
can
be
get
low,
hurt,
and they can bruise.
there's
They
certain
can get
times that
hurt.
their skin is a lot more sensitive.
There's certain times that
So
their skin
those
is a
kinds
lot
of
more
things
sensitive.
are
It's about
those
awareness
kinds of
on
things
our part
are
as the
it's
professional.
about awareness on our part as the professional
Because these patients just want to
because
feel
these
like everybody else.
patients
They want to
just
come in
want
for
to
treatment. They want to come
feel
in for
like
pampering.
everybody
They
else.
want
They
to
want
come
to
in
come
for
in for
treatment,
and
and
they
they
don't
want to
come in
know.
for pampering.
And
They
so
want to come
it's
in
up to
right,
us as
and they don't
professionals to
know.
know.
And so
It's up to us as
I
professionals
tell
to
people
know.
if you don't want to take the training, then
I tell people
have
if you
the
don't want to take the
decency to say,
training,
you know
then
what,
have the
as
decency to
much as
say,
I would
you know
love
what,
to treat you, let's see if
as
we
much as
can't
I would
find
love to
someone
treat
who has the
you, let's see if
training
we
to
can't
treat
find
you, right? Because I
someone
don't want to
who
hurt
has the
you.
training
And
to
if
treat
it's
you,
someone
right?
that's
Because
post-cancer
post-cancer
and
survivor,
if it's
that's
someone that's
probably easier, right?
post-cancer
Because it's
survivor,
already
that's
post their
probably easier,
treatments,
right? Because
post,
it's
right?
already
Post their
and so at that
treatments,
point,
post, right?
depending on what it
And
was
so
and
at
what
that
kinds of
point,
treatments,
depending
right?
on what it
But
was and
that's
what kinds of
easier for any
treatments, right?
esthetician to be able
But
to do.
that's
It's
those
easier for
that
any
have just gotten
esthetician to be able
diagnosed.
to
It's
do.
those
It's
that are
those
going
that have
through
just gotten
at
diagnosed. It's those that are
time
going
that
through
you can
at
really actually hurt
time
someone if you don't know
that
what you're
you
doing.
can really actually hurt someone if you
Absolutely.
don't know what you're doing.
And absolutely, what is
Yeah.
your recommendation to anyone who does want to get into aesthetics? Anyone who does want to get into
Aesthetics as a whole?
aesthetics. Yeah.
Like,
So as a whole,
aesthetics as a whole?
So as a whole, they're like, hey, I want to be an esthetician. They're like, hey, I want to be an esthetician. Work for someone? Do I go solo? Do I go like what's your work for someone? Do I go solo? Like what's your
so
best
honestly,
recommendations?
because I've been a solopreneur the entire time, I feel like if you want the flexibility, if you want to do your own protocols, bring in your own products,
do
if
your
you
own
want that
protocols, bring in your own
of
products. If you want that
control in your business, then solopreneurship is the way to go.
in your business, then
However,
solopreneurship is the way to go.
that you have to really be proactive with continuing education, right? Because then you're on your own, and so if you're not learning constantly, then you're going to fall behind because, as you know, the beauty industry is ever changing, and new products and new procedures and new tools and new products and new procedures and new tools
with your
and new this and new
education,
that. And if you're
then
not
you're not going to be able to
with your
compete with
education,
those that are.
then you're not going to be able to compete with those that are
owning your own
so
business.
that's the plus.
The plus
to
to
owning
working
your
for
own
someone
business
is maybe they'll pay for your education. You'll learn new services.
maybe they'll
You can
pay for
maybe
your
learn from
education. You'll learn
seasoned
new services. You can
estheticians,
maybe
right?
learn from
You go to
seasoned
work,
estheticians.
you come
right?
home, you go to work.
Because as
you
you
come
know, being a
home,
business owner is 24/7.
as you
right?
know,
When
being a
you,
business
like,
owner
it
is
doesn't
24/7.
stop. And then you're a
right?
mom,
When
and then you're a wife,
like,
and then you're a
stop.
and then you're a mom,
and then you're a wife,
and then
you're
you're
constantly
this, and then
going.
so it's like,
And then if you own a
you're
big brick and
constantly
mortar, that
going.
takes on a
And then
whole
if you own a
level
big
of
brick and
different
mortar, that
responsibility,
takes
right?
on a whole level
So
of different
going to work
responsibility,
for
right? But
someone,
so going to work for
you
someone,
may not make as much money right away, but
you may not make
education,
as much money
knowledge,
right away, but
experience,
education, knowledge,
I think
experience
is vital too in this
I
industry,
think
right?
is
I mean, I've been
vital
doing
too in
this
this
12 years
industry,
now.
right?
I mean,
And
I've
I
been
still
doing this
feel like I
12
have
years
so much to
now,
learn, but I'm
and I still
constantly
feel
learning.
like
Like
I
I'm
have so much to
constantly
learn,
doing
but I'm
webinars,
constantly
reading
learning.
books.
Like
I'm
it doesn't,
constantly
because
doing
they're
webinars,
not going to
reading
end.
books. Like
They're not going
and
to end.
so
And then the
and
finances, right?
so
If you need to have a
and then the
stable
finances, right? If
income
you need to
because
have
you're
a
a
stable
single
mom
income,
or a
because
single
you're a
an individual,
single
like
mom or a
not
single
married,
an
right?
individual,
Then
like
maybe
not
working
married,
for
right?
yourself isn't the right
Then
option
maybe
because
working for
that
yourself isn't the right option
consistent
because that isn't
income coming in, right? Because
consistent
you're only
income
making
coming
money
in,
when
right?
you're
Because you're
working.
only making money when you're
So working
working.
for someone gives you that type of a stability in that you know you're going to get a paycheck.
Stability
However,
in that
every
you
2
know you're
weeks
going to
or
get a
every month or
paycheck.
whatever they pay, right?
However, every 2 weeks
So there's
or every month or
value
whatever they
in
pay,
both.
right?
So there's
But I was
value
at
in
a
both.
season in my life. I became
But I was at a
an
season in my
SD
life. I
later
became
in life,
an
right? Like
SD
I didn't do it. Like
later
you're
in life,
young, you're
right?
vibrant,
Like
you're
I didn't
you're
do it. Like
starting off. This is
young,
your
you're vibrant.
career.
You're starting
you.
off. This is your career.
I didn't
Thank
start
you.
that way.
Yeah,
I raised
I
my
did it. I didn't
kids,
start that way.
and
I
then I
raised
jumped to
my
something that I
kids,
felt passionate
and then I
about,
jumped to
and then
something that I felt
here I
passionate
am again,
about,
opening it
and
up for the
then
third time. But
here I am again opening it up for the third time.
There is
But
definitely your pros and cons to all of it.
so there is
So,
definitely your pros and cons to
that's just
all
kind
of
of my
it.
input
So,
on that.
that's just kind of my input on that.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
where can people find you if they either want to book a service or just have any questions about oncology aesthetics?
So I'm on all the socials. My business is PL Bella Skincare.
My business is
And so I'm
PL
on
Bella
Instagram.
Skincare.
My name is Jen
And so
Robinson.
I'm on
Facebook
my
and
name is Jen
Instagram. I'm an
Robinson. I'm
open
on
book.
Facebook
I have
and
no problem talking.
Instagram.
I
I'm an
love
open
answering
book. I have no
questions.
problem talking.
I love answering
PL Bella.
questions. So on Facebook,
PL
I haven't
Bella.
changed it
So
yet.
on Facebook,
owning a
I
business
haven't
page
changed
on
it
Facebook
yet.
is a little different. You can't
Owning
just
a
go in and
business
change your name,
page on
right?
Facebook is a little different.
You
You
can't
because
just go in and
because I
change
had
your
the
name,
big
right?
brick
So
and mortar
because
spa
I had the
in
big
Virginia,
brick and
it's
mortar
still PL Bella
spa
Day Spa
in Virginia.
It's
It's
still
on
PL Bella Day
Facebook,
Spa,
but like I got
on
a new
Facebook,
LLC,
but like I
here
got a
in
new
in
LLC
Texas, and
here
so it's
in
PL Bella Skincare.
Texas, and so yeah, PL Bella
So yeah,
Skincare.
and then
Yeah.
like I said,
So yeah,
people can
and
message
then
me, call me.
like I said,
My
people can message
information's
me,
on my
call me.
website,
My information's on my
PLBellaSkincare.com.
website.
They can reach me through that as well.
They can reach me through that as well. And,
Amazing.
yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much for being
Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much
guest
for
on
being
Local
Beauty. I appreciate you. I'm so excited. Beauty. I appreciate you. I'm so excited. And guys, I am so excited to release I am so excited you're listening to this, it'll already be out. When you're listening to this, it'll already be out. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you guys on the next one. And I will see you guys on the next one.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Bye.
Thank you, Jacqueline.